Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, indeed a very good morning and welcome one and all to the Singapore Energy Summit 2015. I am Ravi Nadesan, for those of you who are not here this morning, your host for this summit. To facilitate, again, more questions and comments, I would like to mention that we have a real-time interactive platform called Pigeonhole Live that allows you to pose your questions directly to our speakers using your mobile devices. Now, you will also be able to vote for the questions asked by others. The moderator for the Q&A sessions will then pick out these most voted questions to be addressed during the Q&A sessions. Yeah. Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to remind you to log on to the URL link of www.SIEW, spelled SIEW.SG/live via your web browser to pose your questions. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's proceed with the first panel discussion on Asia's new energy frontiers. Moderating this session is Ambassador Ong Keng Yong, Executive Deputy Chairman of the S. Rajaratnam School of International Studies. Joining him in this panel, ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned, their names one at a time. They will make their way up on stage. Firstly, we have Virapon Viravong. He is the Vice Minister of Energy and Mines, Lao People's Democratic Republic. We also have Dato' Lutu Gi, Ministry of Energy, Green Technology and Water, Malaysia. Hiroshi Ozaki, Chairman, Osaka Gas. Tan Kin Fei, Group President and CEO of Sembcorp Industries. Wang Min, Executive Vice President, State Grid Corporation of China. And finally, Kyle Peters, Senior Vice President Operations, the World Bank. Let's give them all a welcoming round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, shall we? Now again, during the Q&A, ladies and gentlemen, feel free to raise your hands. We've got roving microphones that will be given to you. And of course, we'd like for you to introduce yourselves and tell us where you're from before you pose your questions. Do enjoy the session, ladies and gentlemen. Again, this is on Asia's new energy frontiers. Ambassador Ong, over to you, sir.
Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are already more than 5 minutes behind the scheduled time. Maybe I should dispense with all the formalities, but I know the protocol people there would remind me I had to say a few things. First of all, thank you for having me, and thank you for having this panel assembled here. I believe you have 6 very eminent speakers. I don't think I need to introduce them one by one in a very long-winded manner, except to say that every one of them come from the energy sector with specific knowledge about what they are going to talk about in a while. And I think maybe we should let each of them speak for 3 to 5 minutes on their respective area of work and the issues and challenges they have prepared for you this morning. So, according to the program, we should start off with the speaker from Malaysia. The Minister, Dr. Max Ongkiri, is held up in Kuala Lumpur. But thankfully, he has sent his Secretary General of the Ministry of Energy, Green Technology and Water Resources, Dato' Lu, this lady, beautiful lady next to me. So I think we will give the floor to her to say a few things about the energy scenery as the Ministry of Energy for Malaysia sees it. And then after that, we will go to Vice Minister from the Lao PDR. So, Dato' Lu is a long-serving Secretary General of the Ministry of Energy. So she is very familiar with the subject. And most recently, Malaysia, as Chairman of ASEAN, has hosted the ASEAN Energy Ministers meeting in Kuala Lumpur. So I believe there is much to be said about what is happening on the ASEAN scene and also on the Malaysian scene. Dato' Lu, over to you, madam.
Thank you to Ambassador Ong. A very good morning to all of you here. On behalf of my minister, Dr. Max Ongkili, I would like to convey his apologies for not being able to be here to join in this forum. Ladies and gentlemen, as the topic suggests, global energy transition, the most pressing challenges for ASEAN, to my mind, would be the issue about energy security, the issue about using energy efficiently, and also concerns for the environment. In Malaysia, one of the most important points that the Malaysian government had undertaken over the past 7-8 years would be the issue about energy subsidy rationalization. Previously, we used to provide a lot of subsidies, energy subsidies, to the people and the industry at large, but we find that that is not tenable. So from the year 2008, we took the very bold step towards ensuring energy security by slowly reducing the energy subsidies. So today, the price for power generation, the price for gas, the price of gas for power generation is fixed at about $4 per MMBTU, as compared to previously it was very much lower. So moving forward, we would expect to reach the market price very soon, and through that we need to drive energy efficiency. So apart from energy security, the other concern would be the need to promote or encourage energy efficiency and conservation. This will take its natural costs in the process of reducing the subsidies. The other point that I would like to mention would be the need to ensure minimum environmental degradation as a result of our energy activities. In particular, in Malaysia, we are using more coal for power generation, but we take importance in the impact of coal generation on the environment. So moving forward, the way forward is for us to adopt clean technology. So for the last few power plants that we had built, we had adopted the clean coal technology. The super ultra critical technologies are being adopted here, and Malaysia also is moving in together with the rest of the world to seek cleaner ways of generating electricity. For example, there is talk about CCS having been identified by the IEA as one possible technology to address the issue about pollution on the environment. So Malaysia is also an active partner in this area. Of course, for power generation, we are still awaiting the use of CCS in power generation. So I believe moving forward, if the ASEAN regions do not embark on new technologies, we will be left behind, or we will have no other choice but to adapt to technology. So technology also plays a very important role in the energy transition. In this regard, Malaysia and the rest of the ASEAN region would look forward to the developed countries sharing with us your technologies in the area of the power generation or in the industrial sector. So, Mr. Chairman, these are the broad areas. I'd just like to share with all of you here today at the last AMEM 33, the ASEAN Ministers of Energy meeting that was held 2 weeks ago. We had agreed that we need to scale up on clean energy or renewable energy, and we had agreed on the target of 23% of the energy mix on ASEAN-wide basis will need to come from renewables. So this is one area that the Malaysia and the ASEAN region is contributing towards the climate change cause. And I'm quite certain, quite confident working with the developed countries in terms of sharing of your technologies, we will be able to ensure a cleaner environment, not only in the world, but in the ASEAN region. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dato' Lu. Next, we have Minister from Laos, His Excellency Virapon Virawong. Excellency, please.
Thank you, and good morning to all. Maybe I just say thank you to the government of Singapore for giving us the opportunity to share with you our experience and our thoughts about futures of our ASEAN countries. I guess we realize that the ASEAN countries have policies, have plan for concern about energy securities and sustainability and efficiency, but it's still mainly based on each country resource and capability and within its territory. And this is one of the areas that Laos would like to share with you our experience that how can we enlarge the cooperation among the countries so that you will have, as the executive directors of IEA said this morning, we will have a better mix. Then we don't have to sacrifice security with efficiency, for example. And this is the area where I would like to share the Laos experience. 30 years ago, from 1970 to 2000, with the public investment in hydropower in Laos, we managed to develop about 300 megawatts, which is merely 10 megawatts per year. And when we start with the World Bank support on the public-private partnership, during 20 years, 1998, the first IPP project, until expected 2020, we managed to develop, we would be roughly 10,000 megawatts. That is 450 megawatts a year, 45 times bigger than before. And all hydropower projects under consideration, preparation now. We expected to be able to put under 10,000 megawatts from 2020 to 2030. That is 1,000 megawatts per year. And we could not do this without cooperation with Thailand, Vietnam, and Cambodia. So and when we look at this, talk about renewable energy, and that include large and medium and small hydropower, of course. And we have to be frank with ourselves that hydropower play a very important role in that. And by cooperation, only Laos can now develop it and export 2/3 of our capacity. And without this cooperation, we would never be able to do that. And this bring renewable energy, green, and also fairly competitive electricity supply to the region. We only hope that we can increase the scope of the cooperation. So in our part of the world, Laos, at least we need it. And the only thing I can see, we are now discussing the export of 100 megawatts of hydropower from Laos through Thailand, Malaysia, and Singapore. And I know it is difficult, as we said, it's probably only politics that is remaining. That I guess we can create the trust, and I'm sure that we can overcome that. If it's not difficult, they will not leave it to us to do it. So I hope that during this discussion and supported from all the people, we will go. One observation, though, I mean, when we promote the renewable energy and clean environment, but when we developed 1,800 megawatt coal lignite, we don't have a single voice against it. But when we try to develop hydropower, which is supposed to be renewable, we have so much problems. And it's delays, and it takes up a lot of our resources and time, and delays the project. So I hope that we can sort that out soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency Virawong. According to my schedule now, I pass the floor to Hiroshi Ozaki from Osaka Gas. Please, sir.
Thank you for the introduction. I'm honored to be in Singapore again to join this panel. Today, I want to focus on ASEAN's economy and energy. ASEAN is comprised of diverse countries in terms of economic development as well as the use of energy. Currently, the combined GDP of ASEAN members accounts for about 3.2% in the world economy, but each member country has a good potential for further growth if we take the population, natural resources, and international trade into account. The growth of ASEAN economy is expected more than 5% annually towards year 2020, and naturally, such a strong economic growth requires substantial increase in energy supply in the region. Looking at the current energy supply of the whole region, oil has the biggest share of 37%, followed by natural gas 22% and coal 60% respectively. The choice of future energy supply must be considered from the viewpoints of availability, energy efficiency, and environment. Natural gas can become a key energy source to fuel the robust economic growth of ASEAN nations in the future. On the supply side, some ASEAN countries have substantial indigenous gas resources which has been developed for export and local consumption. With the expected rise in gas demand, the local reserves may not suffice to meet the future additional demand. Even traditional exporters such as Indonesia and Malaysia are now shifting their positions to net importers of natural gas, particularly LNG. The construction of LNG receiving facilities has been taking place in several countries in addition to pipelines. As to the future gas sources, there are quite a few greenfield LNG projects in North America, Middle East, East Africa, and Australia, in addition to existing facilities. And ASEAN is rather conveniently located to have access to these new suppliers. If the unconventional gas is taken into account, there will be more than enough gas reserves to meet future demand in the world. The challenge here will be to deliver gas to the consumers at an affordable prices. Supply is not the sole problem. On the demand side, two aspects are important further to expand gas market. One is to develop infrastructure for the gas transportation and distribution, and the other is to create a market in addition to power generation. The ideal goal may be the ASEAN integrated gas transport system, which connects LNG terminals and existing pipelines in the region. But it can take a long while considering the budget to finance it and the coordination among the member countries. To complement the large-scale system, small-scale floating scheme may be useful. Receiving regas storage facilities can be made as a floating system. Also, the secondary transport of LNG by boats or lorries can be a good alternative. Direct use of natural gas, including the switch from oil, will bring efficiency and environmental benefits, and there are a variety of technologies to enhance the value of natural gas, such as cogeneration, gas air conditioning, boilers, and furnaces. Cogeneration, or combined heat and power, is especially useful where power from the grid is not dependable with respect to capacity or reliability. Japan, with its rich expertise in developing downstream gas market, is prepared to work in cooperation with ASEAN energy players to introduce energy-saving solutions as well as energy-efficient systems to maximize the value of natural gas. As the gas market in ASEAN develops over time, it seems natural that interaction with the adjacent East Asian market becomes more frequent and convenient to adjust supply-demand situation positions or to level peak demand. It may still be premature to consider a broader ASEAN gas market because only limited number of swap or spot cargoes are made available. When trading into markets becomes more common practice, the convergence of the market will make sense as the size of market matters with respect to liquidity. Appropriate market mechanism can extract the capabilities of both upstream and downstream facilities to a full extent. Therefore, I believe it is very beneficial not only for the consumers but also for producers to build up an international gas market with ample flexibility and liquidity. Thank you.
Thank you, Ozaki-san. Next, we have Mr. Tang King Fei from Sembcorp Industry.
Thank you, Ken Yong. Good morning. My name is Tang Kin Fei. I'm the Group President and CEO for Sembcorp Industries. Sembcorp's core business is in power, water, marine, and township development. Today, I'll focus on our power business. Sembcorp has more than 10,000 megawatts of power plants, either in operations or under construction, around 15 countries worldwide. Our focus area is still in the rapidly developing economies, which is primarily in the ASEAN, Asian region. We have both thermal and renewable energy. And 85% of our capacity is outside Singapore. And we are in the space of gas and coal-fired power plants in the thermal arena. And about 15% of our power generation capacity are in the renewable area, both wind and solar. As you can hear many of the audience or speakers mentioned this morning, renewable energy is going to grow in a big way. And our target is to be at least 20% in the next 5 years. Now in Asia, the power demand is expected to grow by 50% in the next 20 years. And the energy consumption per capita in Asia is still very low. And most governments are trying to do more industrialization and urbanization. And their plan to achieve this can be only achieved by having higher power generation capacity. Therefore, power needs in Asia is a very important growth requirement to support the government. I think to achieve the power generation capacity, there are many challenges for this government. Number one, the high cost of infrastructure is quite inadequate in Asia. The second is affordability of power. Third, the sustainability of the power generation business. And of course, you need to have a commercially viable structure for the power business to be self-sustaining. Otherwise, your government have to pay a lot of subsidies to provide power to the people. On the infrastructure area, you can see that many of these developing countries required to convert infrastructures to convert molecules to electrons, starting from import facilities and power plants, the grids, to dispatch power to people and also to industries. Therefore, this requires a lot of costs for this power plant to be delivered to consumers. So this is one major challenge. The second major challenge is, of course, the affordability. As you heard from the president of IEA this morning, a lot of countries are providing subsidies for the power market. This is something that I think is on top of every government's agenda to ensure that these subsidies are minimized or mitigated. The third point is on sustainability. I think sustainability means you must not only produce power at the same time, they also need to make sure this power are produced in an environmentally friendly manner. They are produced in a sustainable level and they can coexist with the environment. I think these are very, very important elements for success for ensure that they can homogenize the supply of power to the region. And I think the high cost of power energy costs, for example, you can see this morning presentation, there's a big disparity of prices between the gas price in USA and the gas price in Asia. These lead to new technologies that can be made more affordable in Asia compared with the US. I give you an example. The oil price or the gas price in the US is probably $3 or $4 per million BTU, whereas if you look at the gas price in Asia, is in the region of $8 to $10. So there's a big gap. And if you look at the affordability of renewable energy, they're getting cheaper and cheaper. And I would say the acceptability of government providing subsidies is lowering in terms of providing renewable energy. So you can see that this will propel a lot of growth opportunity of renewable energy in the Asian region. Yeah. So therefore, coupled with all these factors, the high demand growth in Asia and the lowering cost of power using new technology are important factors to propel the growth in Asia.
Thank you. Next, we have Mr. Wang Ming. Ladies and gentlemen, please use your headsets there because Mr. Wang is going to speak in Mandarin. There will be simultaneous translation from the translator's booth. So, Wang Ming, 请吧。
女士们、先生们，首先感谢主持人，也感谢在座的各位代表，给你们增加了一点工作啊，戴上了耳机。我来自中国的国家电网公司，国家电网公司呢，主要负责中国的26个省市自治区，11亿人口，国土面积88%的国土面积的电力供应和服务，是目前全球最大的公用事业企业。大家知道，我们现在大家都在讨论这个化石能源给我们带来的一系列的问题。那么，我们整个全球什么时间才能真正实现以清洁能源完全替代化石能源？我们何时才能进入这样一个时代呢？怎样沿着一个什么样的路径进入这样一个时代呢？我想这是我们大家都关心的一个问题。今天呢，我就带来了国家电网公司关于这个问题的一些看法。下面呢，我把我们有关的一些对这个问题一些认识给大家做一个简要的介绍。大家知道，随着经济社会的发展，能源生产消费持续的增长，而且在一些地区，特别是我们亚洲地区，刚性还是非常强的。化石能源大量的开发利用，带来了这个资源紧张、能源的不安全，带来了环境污染、气候变化这些问题日益严重。建立在传统化石能源基础上的发展方式已经不可持续了。我们认为，能源生产清洁替代和能源消费电能替代势在必行。 这对于推动亚洲的能源转型和全球的能源转型都非常的重要。我所说的2个替代，首先第一个替代是指的能源生产实行清洁替代，就是说以清洁能源替代化石能源，逐步实现从化石能源为主向清洁能源为主的转变。化石能源大家知道具有稀缺性和地域性，大量的使用带来了高污染、高排放等问题。以水电、风电和太阳能发电为重点的清洁能源开发利用，对生态环境的影响小，而且清洁能源的总量非常丰富。根据我们研究的结果，仅开发其中5%的清洁能源，就可以满足未来人类社会的全部的能源需求。新世纪以来，全球太阳能发电装机、风电装机分别增长了155倍和20倍。2014年，全球新增能源消费1.7亿吨标准煤，其中新增清洁能源9000万吨，首次超过了化石能源。今天上午，毕罗尔先生的演讲当中也指出了这样一个现实随着技术的进步，清洁能源的开发利用效率还在不断的提高，经济性和竞争力明显的提升。预计到2030年、2050年，清洁能源占全球一次能源消费的总量比重将从目前的14%提高到33%和80%。那么到2050年的时候，清洁能源占全球一次能源消费的总量的比重可以达到80%。那个时刻就是清洁能源替代化石能源的一个非常重要的一个拐点能源消费第二个呢，替代就是指的能源消费实行电能替代，就是以电能替代煤炭、石油等化石能源，提高电能在终端能源消费当中的比重。电是利用效率最高的终端能源，越来越多的一次能源通过转化为清洁的电能开发利用，电能在世界终端能源消费当中的比重不断提高，已经从1971年的8.8%提高到了2014年的20%，先后超过了煤炭、热力和天然气。民用、工业、商业、建筑、交通等领域的一电带煤、一电带油、一电带气，应该说越来越广泛。随着电能替代技术的不断突破，大部分终端能源可以用电能替代。电网是重要的能源网络设施和电力优化配置的平台，是能源生产和消费的枢纽。中国国家电网公司董事长刘振亚先生提出，2个替代的关键是构建以特高压电网为骨干网架，以输送清洁能源为主导、全球能源互联的电网。全球能源互联网连接一机一道等大型能源基地。这个一机一道主要是指的这个北极地区的风电和这个赤道地区的太阳能，连接这个北极地区的风电、赤道地区的太阳能，以及遍布在全球各地的各类的分布式电源，将存在时区差和季节差的各大洲电网紧密地连接起来，实现风光互补、水火互济、地区互调，有力地保障能源供应。这样一个全球能源互联网具有服务范围广、配置能力强、安全可靠性高、绿色低碳等显著的优势，将是世界能源与电力发展的重要方向。关于这个话题呢，我还要在明天的一个论坛上做一个比较系统完整的介绍。那么亚洲呢，是当今世界最具经济活力和潜力的地区，经济发展快，能源需求大，环境问题突出，加快能源转型的要求更为迫切。同时，亚洲的清洁能源资源非常丰富，水能占了全球总量的46%，风能和太阳能分别占了全球总量的25%和25%，就各占1/4。 但是呢，我们也知道清洁能源的分布不均衡，加快清洁能源开发，实施2个替代的潜力巨大。总的来看，亚洲地区能源发展的需求大，资源丰富，市场规模和潜力大，前景非常广阔。亚洲能源转型将进一步驱动技术创新、装备升级、区域能源互济和国际能源合作。近年来，中国国家电网公司在促进清洁能源开发利用、推进2个替代方面呢，做了大量的工作，在特高压、智能电网等领域取得了丰硕的成果。我们愿意在基础研究、科技攻关、设备研制、工程建设、标准制定和人才培养等方面呢，加强和各方面的交流与合作，与广大的同行一道携手共进，共同推动亚洲能源的转型，促进亚洲经济社会的繁荣和发展。谢谢大家。
谢谢汪明先生。Next, Carl, over to you. World Bank. Last but not least.
Last but not least. Thank you very much, Mr.